Since the launch of the Logistics Reference Council in Ho Chi Minh City by the end of 2017, the Oxford Skills collaborated with the General Department of Vocational Education to hold a training course on developing competence-based training programs. The course started in March this year and has just ended at the end of June, focusing on 5 areas: warehouse staff, warehouse supervision, logistics staff, cargo handling, and general cargo handling. The participants of the course are lecturers from many universities, colleges, and training centers in Ho Chi Minh City.
Các chuyên gia của Úc đã đến đây để giúp chúng tôi tiếp cận được với một cái phương thức dạy rất là mới, là dạy sinh viên nhưng mà lại theo cái yêu cầu của doanh nghiệp. Thì có thể nói là cái điều này làm cho các giáo viên và của các trường học thay đổi cái cách nhìn của mình trong cái việc là đào tạo người học như thế nào gắn với nhu cầu doanh nghiệp, thì nó mới không bị rơi vào tình trạng là mai mốt này các em nó ra thì nó lại không biết kiếm việc ở đâu.
In the spirit of bilateral cooperation on human resources development between Vietnam and Australia, the course has achieved the target of improving the quality of human resources and curricular, applying new educational technologies, and sharing information on cooperation with businesses as well as training schools in Vietnam and Australia.
Greetings from Vietnam on VTC10 Net Việt. Vietnam is integrating deeply into the world economy, and there is said to be a huge opportunity for Vietnam to develop the logistics sector here. So how can the human resource in Vietnam meet the special requirements that the logistics sector requires? In today's program, we have a conversation with Madam Helen from Griffith University on this topic. So thank you for joining us. First of all, what can you say about the general trend in the demand for human resource majoring in logistics sector in Vietnam nowadays?
My understanding in Vietnam, the logistics sector is like many other sectors where there is quite a significant skill shortage. We are seeing there is insufficient number of skilled workers that are being trained by the colleges in comparison to what's required by industry or by enterprises. And so there is a big gap in the number of students coming out who are ready for work, but also there's a big gap in the skills, the skill level, because the current system in training doesn't really meet what the needs are of the enterprises. So what's happening is a number of students are being taken up into positions in the logistics sector that perhaps come from the university, well trained, but not in the specific skill sets, because we're talking about vocational education and training. So their training is at a much higher level and they don't have the skills, the actual skill development. So that's very similar across many sectors, but particularly in the logistics sector in Vietnam, they're seeing quite significant skill shortages, which is hampering productivity.
What are the special requirements or the skills that the human resource majoring in logistics sector should have, in your opinion?
In the logistics sector, like many other sectors, there are many different levels of training that's required. So people that have a good understanding of the application of how to be a warehouse operator or a warehouse supervisor, for instance, somebody who understands customs clearance, understands what happens at the ports and at the airport from an administration perspective. You know, they're familiar with the industry. So there's a lack of skill and knowledge there, but also there is, with changing technology, huge disruption in the industry requiring high-level technological skills and working with high-level technology. It's the changing technology. It's Industry 4.0 that is disrupting our whole industries, and that of course creates a huge demand to ensure that we're competitive as a country.
As far as we know, Griffith University is organizing the workshops under the framework of the OS for Skill program here in Vietnam. So can you share with us about the series of the workshops on this topic?
The workshops ranged over a period of 6 to 7 months. We had both colleges, vocational education colleges, and also enterprises joined together with us. The colleges and the enterprises collaborated together on the understanding of the Australian framework and learning about competency-based training and developing curriculum based on the APEX standards. So we have 5 APEX standards which have been developed over a number of years, and the workshops were all about building capacity within the colleges so that the trainers could build an understanding of a competency-based training system, but also very importantly, working with industry allowed them to understand what the industry's needs were. Also gave industry or enterprise an appreciation of how complex training also is and how joined together they can create a very good opportunity for collaboration to ensure that what the colleges produce in terms of students and skill sets is what the industry needs. So from those workshops, we've had a lot of success in building those long-term relationships, in getting the colleges or working with the colleges so that they feel comfortable and understand the need of enterprise, working with them on validating their assessment strategies and their learning strategies so that the gap that I spoke about earlier on is greatly reduced.
These are the students from the Ho Chi Minh City College of Economics, specializing in logistics. After nearly a year studying this new major, they have a better direction for their future.
Em cũng thấy là nó là một ngành mới lạ, em cũng muốn học thử. Và sau một thời gian thì em học tại trường và được các giảng viên giải thích rõ hơn về ngành thì em thấy là cái ngành này là rất là thú vị. Em càng ngày càng học thì em cảm thấy rất là thích và mong muốn sau khi em học ra trường là em muốn làm về chứng từ. Em rất thích cái công việc đó.
Em sẽ học thêm về nhiều chứng chỉ và học thêm về tiếng Anh chuyên ngành để mình nâng cao cái công việc của mình hơn và cơ hội việc làm của em được thăng tiến hơn.
Đây là cái ngành mới cho nên là chúng tôi quyết liệt là đưa vào cái chương trình đào tạo chất lượng cao ngay từ đầu. Chúng tôi vận dụng tối đa cái thông tư 29 của Bộ Lao động Thương binh Xã hội về kết hợp của nhà trường với nhà máy, với doanh nghiệp. Đây là cái khóa đầu tiên. Danh vừa qua là chúng tôi đã một phần tổ chức ở nhà trường và hiện nay phải nói 60-70% là thực tập thực tế và trong đó đặc biệt 50% là gắn với doanh nghiệp.
According to a survey by the Research and Development Institute, National Economics University, at present, more than 80% of human resources in logistics companies are still trained at work, and the remaining has short-term training courses at home and abroad. Therefore, when the schools focus on the practical needs of the industry, they create a more professional logistics market in the future.
Can you share more with us about the competence-based approach that is quite popular in your university?
Well, competency-based training is something that Australia has been doing for many years, and many other countries in the world as well. It's recognised as one of the benchmarks of training. So, competency-based training. It ensures that the student is competent with the requirements of what the standards are set at. So as I mentioned earlier on, we have APEX standards here in Vietnam that are being trialled, and that's what we have worked with in the workshop. And what it means is that the student is trained in line with a standard. so that the employer can be guaranteed that when they take on a student who has a particular qualification or a certification, they can be confident that that student is at that competency, has that level of competence.
From your experience working with the educational institutions in Vietnam so far, what can you say about the limitations of those educational institutions when we are talking about providing the training courses on logistics?
They've got a big task ahead of them, so there's a big demand on the colleges to produce students who are work ready, who meet industry's needs. Why the workshops have been so beneficial in building that bridge between colleges and industry. One of the challenges is making sure that the professional development of the trainers is continued on, that they develop and understand what is going on in industry and enterprise so that they can then teach that in the colleges. So by building those relationships with the industry, they can invite the trainers into the industry and enterprise and help build their professional development skills so that that work can come back into the colleges. In any training environment, resourcing, having all the latest equipment, up-to-date equipment, because things are moving and changing so quickly. Obviously, the logistics industry, you can't have a port in your college. Even a big warehouse you can't have in your college. So again, that's the importance of having those really strong relationships with industry so that we can bring students into the industry as trainees or maybe internships or bring expertise from industry into the colleges so that they can talk about and show videos, etc., about what goes on in the industry.
From the cooperation between your university and also the educational institutions in Vietnam, do you have any recommendations so that the quality and the standards of human resource majoring in logistics can be improved?
My recommendations are to continue on the path that they have started to walk down. It's a very different approach to what they're currently doing in the colleges. Competency-based training and working to standards is a really good basis to ensure that you're building a sound foundation so that the enterprises are confident in what they're getting in terms of a skill set of students. That also means that the trainers have a great resource in working with industry so that they keep themselves abreast of the changes in this really fast-changing world that we're living in.
In the future, do you have any plan to work with more universities in Vietnam and improve the quality of human resource majoring in logistics?
Very happy to support in any way we can. This is very much in its embryonic stage, the project that we have been working on, and all the major stakeholders have to determine, the path that they would like to take. A very important part of this project is the development of the Logistics Industry Reference Council. So a number of major stakeholders from industry and also the colleges, also input from logistical agencies and government. The Logistics Industry Reference Council will also make a determination of how they see the needs of the industry and what is the best way forward. But most definitely, Griffith University has really enjoyed, and I think we've seen some great outcomes from the program, and I think we definitely would like to continue to support Vietnam in their endeavours.
Once again, thank you for joining us and for your meaningful sharings today.
My pleasure.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sang Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sangvietnam@netvietv.net. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.